Hello and welcome to Acoustic Review. My name is Ben Morgan-Brown and today I'm looking at the 652 CE Builders Edition 12 string from Taylor Guitars. Introduced at NAMM 2020, this model is the first 12 string in the newly expanded Builders Edition series and combines a solid torrefied Sitka spruce top with solid big leaf maple back and sides on a 12 fret grand concert V-braced body with a cutaway. The solid maple neck, capped with an ebony fingerboard, has a scale length of 24 and 7/8 inches and a tusk nut with a 1 and 7/8 nut width. The ebony bridge features a fully compensated saddle and a double mounting string anchoring system that sees each pair of strings secured by a single ebony bridge pin. In contrast to other 12 strings in the Taylor line, the 652 CE BE is reverse strung in a manner similar to some very famous electric 12 strings, with the fundamental string on top and closest to the player and the octave string below. The guitar features the now familiar Builders Edition's upgrades of chamfered body edges, a contoured neck heel cutaway and an armrest bevel on the lower bout. Finished in Taylor's silent satin finish with a full body wild honey burst, the 652 CE also has gold Goto 510 machine heads and comes equipped with Taylor's ES2 pickup system. A Taylor hardcase is included and the guitar has an RRP of £3,599. So let's have another listen to the guitar now, and then please join me afterwards for my thoughts. Opening up the case for the first time, I was really pleased with the look of this guitar. The wild honey burst, together with the simple rosette and purfling, gold machine heads and elegant inlays make for a classic look. There's some nice flame on the back and sides, and overall I think the guitar has a very appealing, almost old-timey appearance, despite some very modern design elements. Holding the guitar, I was a little surprised at the weight, particularly considering its size. It's not a boat anchor by any means, but I was expecting it to be a little lighter and feel more delicate. The build quality is superb. Once again, it's another very neatly put together guitar from Taylor. I was particularly impressed by the compensation for both intonation and height of the individual strings on the saddle, as well as the individual ramps as part of the double mounting system. However, aside from the extra ramp, I can't seem to find anything else about the double mounting system that makes it anything other than simply two strings in one hole. Yes, it does give a consistent break angle, and it makes for a much neater looking bridge, but I can't help but think it might cause some issues, for example if you needed to change a single broken string. In the lap, the guitar is very comfortable, if slightly neck heavy, and the compact body size and armrest make for an intimate feel. This intimacy is reflected in the sound as well. As tempting as it can be to knock out a big crashing chord on a 12 string, I found the guitar responded much better to a more subtle playing style, with arpeggios and partial chords suiting the voicing particularly well. That's not to say you can't strum full chords, and there's a surprising amount of headroom given the body size, but to my ear the emphasis on chime and mid-range meant that big chords and stronger playing started to sound a little out of control, and the guitar lost some focus. Now, to be fair to the guitar, it could be my playing that's not under control, as I'm not a regular 12-string player, but I think if you're looking for a big wall of sound strummer, then this is not the 12-string for you. But if you are looking for something to add a touch of Tom Petty or Birdsey jingle jangle to your sound, then I think the tone of this guitar is just right for that tone and playing style. Plugging the guitar into my compact acoustic amp at home, well, I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but I think I actually enjoyed playing the guitar amplified more than I did unplugged at first. Partly I think that's because I could dial in a little more low end and take a bit of mids out, But also I wonder if it's because the reverse strung sound is so associated with the electric 12 string that it sounded much more familiar through an amplifier. To be honest with you, I normally can't wait to unplug an acoustic and go back to the natural tone, so this was a real revelation for me. Although, having said that, once I did unplug, I felt that I understood a little more the tonality and style that Taylor are aiming for with this guitar, so I did enjoy it more unplugged afterwards. I can genuinely say that I've never played a guitar where the plugged-in tone made me approach the guitar differently when unplugged before. Moving on to the playability, you probably won't be surprised to hear that the Taylor neck is a comfortable low profile C, slender but not too skinny, and the shortened scale length helps combat the added tension of the extra strings. As I've mentioned before in this review, I don't play a lot of 12 string guitars, so perhaps I'm showing my lack of skill at this point, but one thing I did struggle with was when I found the distance between the strings in each pairing a little wide. I can't help but wonder if I might have been able to play more cleanly if they'd been a bit closer together. The overall string spacing felt fine for both my left and right hand, but despite the generous 1 7/8 inches nut, I still found myself having to concentrate to play cleanly. Perhaps given more time I'd get used to it, but I didn't find this guitar to have the effortless playability of your average Taylor 6 string. At £3,599, this Builder's Edition guitar is quite a big jump up in price from the next 12 string Grand Concert model in Taylor's range. Some of the upgrades are an obvious improvement, the Goto 510 tuners for example, which are some of, if not the best modern style tuners on the market. But the other Builder's Edition upgrades I think are quite personal. Whether the satin finish, contoured cutaway and armrest bevel are worth the extra money is something players will need to decide for themselves. Of course, the other Taylor 12 strings come strung up in the traditional way, and without modifying the nut and saddle of the other models, you can't get this option, and the Sitka and maple wood combination isn't currently available on this body style as a 12 string either. I think it's probably true that for most players, 12 string guitars are ones that you might own in addition to your everyday 6 string player. They might be something you swap in for a couple of songs live, or use to add some variety to home recordings, and the main appeal is that it gives you a different voice to use in your playing. By utilising a smaller body shape, a 12 fret neck join, and by going with a reverse strung setup, Taylor have produced a 12 string that not only provides players with an alternative to their regular guitars, but also an alternative voice to other 12 strings on the market. The 652 CE Builder's Edition is a playable and inspiring instrument. I certainly found myself coming back to it throughout the time I had with the guitar, and a few minor gripes about string spacing and weight aside, I could find very little to fault with it. I don't think I could see it becoming my main guitar, but as something to spice up a recording or to inject a little inspiration into my playing, I think it would be a lovely, if slightly indulgent, addition to any player's collection. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Acoustic Review. Please subscribe to keep up to date with new videos, and I look forward to seeing you next time.